All right, I have a DOS 15 key. This was an interesting key for a few reasons. We had been fishing all week for a DOS because it was the last key we needed for KSM, and we kept getting Spires, Sanguine, and Necrotic Wake, all dungeons we did not need. So we actually ended up pugging this one. It's the Hunter's key, who is not part of our key group. We begged him to take us and trust us, and he was a little reluctant, but we ended up getting it, and it wasn't super easy. Like, overall, it was fine, but we definitely had a few mistakes and stuff that we can learn from and improve for next time. So in this key, I'm going to focus a little bit more on like cooldown management and things that we could have done a little bit better. Okay, the first two packs in this dungeon are actually really scary. So we're not afraid to pop cooldowns here. I just sack my tank right off the bat. I end up bubbling here because I'm like, you know what, I don't want to mess with any of this. I was a little sweaty too, so I wasn't really thinking super clearly. But the thought process was, I'm just gonna get in there, try to do a little bit of damage, help him set up without having to worry about like any of the mechanics. Truth be told, I should have held it, but again, when you're a little nervous, sometimes you don't think very clearly. So, yeah, trying to cut the Spitefuls around here, it's not too bad. You just have to watch for the Dark Lotuses. But I am holding wings because I want it for the next pack. The next pack is honestly, to me, as a healer, a little bit scarier. There's more to watch for, and the tank gets hit a lot harder. So we only burned Sack and Ardent Defender there. So we are actually in a really good spot for the next pack. I'm not too concerned. Um, One thing too, as a side note, is I think we could have done a little bit better with ignoring the shades. It's kind of hard because in this dungeon you want to kill it and then mount up to save yourself some time. So like in that case, I think it was fine to kill it, but it's fine. Um, okay, so my tank opens with Ardent Defender here. This is the scary pack, so I'm not really afraid to pop cooldowns here. I just delayed my wings a little bit because I wanted to get some value out of I wanted to get extra value out of it. My tank actually bubbled here, so in hindsight, I should have held my wings. I think I'm going to talk to him and be like, hey, are you always going to bubble this? Because if you are, then I should be using wings now. And the reason why is my wings is falling off, and we already burned through Guardian and um, bubble, right? And so I got little value out of wings. The only thing I'm really getting is damage, but he ends up getting chunked here, and I really wish I had wings for that. So now I'm kiting Spitefuls. Our tank is dead. I just panic bopped the warrior because I wanted to see who got aggro. It was unfortunate because it overlapped with her die by the sword. I should have told her that I was gonna bop her. That's my fault, but it's fine. The tank is back. Be careful on the stairs because there is a little bit of an LOS issue here at times. It's not as bad as necrotic, or not necrotic, spires. It's not as bad as spires with the LOS, I've noticed, but it still can cause some issues. So just make sure that everybody's on the same page and figure out which direction you want to go in. And like the Spiteful can make that part a little tricky too. So just make sure everybody's on the same page. Speaking of that, we tell the hunter to earn. We want him to earn the cast. So, at least for me, it's not that I don't like trust him, but he's a pug. So my suggestion is just always keep a divine toll up for this, because if anything goes wrong, you're gonna need it. And so you'll see here, he waited too long and then he died. So we actually have to get through the entire cast. So I end up sacking the warrior and divine tolling, which saved us. I don't really want to pop wings because I want to use it for the next pack, but Divine Toll, it should be enough there. In hindsight, I probably also should have auraed, but I think I was in panic mode again because he died, and I'm like, oh my god, I gotta figure out what to do. So yeah, actually, these Raptors aren't bad. I wings the next pack, I believe, because it will be back up for Hakkar. But yeah, just watch the tank, make sure the dot is getting cleansed. And again, like kite, make sure everybody's on the same page. We do get Spiteful here, but we will also get another Spiteful right in front of Hakkar with this route. So there's no skipping in this route. I know there is another one where people do skip, but we just prefer spawning the Prideful before Hakkar. It just makes it easier. And you'll see we're just going to blow him up. Like, it's actually insane how fast we kill him. But yeah, so I have toll for this Pride. I just used it. We should be fine. We don't have rally, but I think we damage CD this, so it's fine. It's not a big deal. I don't really ever find myself having to use wings on Prideful unless something goes wrong. But these warlords hit pretty hard, so I do wings this. One thing I need to do is I think I need to trust the tank cooldowns a little bit more, and that's not me trusting my that's not me not trusting my tank, it's I just have to make sure that the tank gets value out of his cooldowns and that I'm not overlapping too much because I think I panic and I just say, "Okay, I'm just gonna wings right off the bat." In certain cases, it's not the end of the world because, like, right here, my wings ended and the warlords were at, like, sub 10%, but I do it a few times in this dungeon, and I think I could be getting more value out of it. Instead of trying to, like, panic and get it out ahead. I mean, wings does last a long time, so it's not, like, awful, but on Fortified, it can get spooky, like I said earlier. Had I not overlapped the Guardian and, Bubble, I potentially could have saved that. I actually think I probably could have if I had a good Word of Glory crit, so one thing I can do better next time. Out of the many things I could do better next time, but yeah. Also, sometimes it's really not a bad idea to just pop wings or just do damage if that pack is not scary either, and I have done that in the past. It's just that on fortified weeks, it's a little tough to make that call. This hallway, we don't do anything special. We earn the 3rd pack. We tell the hunter to do that. Uh, but everything else is pretty standard. We don't do anything crazy here. Just make sure that everyone's communicating who's interrupting what. But this hallway can get a little spooky with the shades because you do have those ghosts that spawn on top of the shades, but I've only ever really had an issue with it if it's on me. I'm standing where I'm standing, and then they spawn in that corridor ahead of me. The range on all 3 of them are just too nasty. Or actually, I'm sorry, I think it's this pack that spawns it. Uh, yeah, it can get a little nasty. I can usually be fine, like using horse and just running through it, maybe getting hit like once. Um, the thing is, it's like kind of hard to wait it out because then my tank is up ahead pulling. So it is what it is. I am trying to save as many cooldowns as possible for Hakkar. So I think I'm trying to hold Sack here. And also the tank has all his cooldowns, so it's not that big of a deal, but Sack on Hakkar is actually pretty good. It's just another way for me to help deal with some of the AoE damage that goes out. But I'm definitely holding wings for it. And I don't really need it on these packs either. As long as things are getting interrupted in this hallway, I don't need to pop cooldowns. I probably could get some more value out of it. Like, I think if I did wings earlier, I'd have a backup for Hakkar, especially because we are going to spawn the Prideful. So, in hindsight, maybe it would have been a good idea to wings and just get extra damage out. Damage output, while I don't think I do bad damage output, I definitely could be doing more. And I think that that could really help with some of these closer runs that we only time by like 30 seconds. I might be able to shave some of that time off by just doing more damage. And I think a few things I could change with that too is I believe I'm running Embalmer's Ink. I could be running Shadow Core oil or whatever. Yeah, Embalmer's oil and Shadow Core. Yeah, I could be doing that. So that'll help with some of these packs where like they don't really get too spooky. And I'm pretty good at avoiding damage for the most part. Like, I'm not perfect, obviously, but I think I'm pretty decent at it. And I'm really good with using my own defensives, like Divine Protection. So yeah, maybe I can run more of the damage oil and help out a little bit. But yeah, we're just gonna kill these really quick, dodge the blade storms, watch the shades, and then nuke Hakkar. uh yeah, and then one like it's a pretty simple trick, but bring the Prideful as close as you can to the Hakkar room so that you have maximum time on Prideful. And then you honestly just ignore the shades, it really just does not matter. I do think I toll here. Yeah, because I didn't want to use shout. And also toll, like I said in the Necrotic Wake video, like toll is on such a short cooldown. Just use it. Don't be afraid. And Hakkar can get kind of spooky if you're not doing it correctly. So having that commanding shout or rallying shout. I keep calling commanding, dude. It's because I played warrior for the longest time when it was commanding. But yeah, so watch us nuke this. We have Prideful, we have Prideful, Hero, and both the tank and myself are just going hardcore DPS, and just this boss is just dying. Like, look how fast he is going. My Windwalker pops off. Yeah, it's insane. Like, I love Fortified weeks. But yeah, I just bubble because I'm like, I don't want to deal with this. And then I just stand there and just heal people. But like also I just did so much damage there as a Holy Pally, which could have been higher if I was Venthyr, but I'm not going Venthyr, so that's as high as I'm going to go. But yeah, I mean, like, just look at the overall group damage. That guy just got decimated. But yeah, so pretty standard stuff so far. I don't think we're doing anything that's like too crazy out of the ordinary, but I'm just reassuring the hunter here because obviously we had 4 deaths and this is his key and he was like reluctant to take us. But I mean, I think the key's going pretty well and the fact that we destroyed Hakkar so fast like made up for some of the early deaths that we had. Like we definitely made back the 20 seconds that we lost. So, we're pretty much at even with this key. And by that I just mean like we're still ahead of the timer overall, but at least we're not racing to make up for more lost time. Okay, so the trash leading up to this boss, overall isn't too bad. There's nothing too crazy to look out for. Obviously, you have your basics like the haywire, just make sure people are dodging it. But there's only a few packs where I feel like I have to save cooldowns. Um, The dog pack up ahead can get kind of scary. I don't think it's too scary in this run, but I've had times where that actually scares me a lot, and I have to like LOH my tank or something. So just be careful. There also isn't a ton of room to kite the Spitefuls if one spawns behind us, because we also have the giant circle we have to dodge. My tank's getting chunked, and yeah, like this. So it can get a little rough in here. But overall, it's not too bad. I think I just popped the wings here, honestly, just to help do damage and get it on cooldown, because I don't really need it for the haywire packs. I do want it for any of the packs that cast Lubricator, though, and the slimes. Like, those are the scariest parts in this wing. The slimes are only scary because if one of the casts gets off, it's like, it's just really bad timing with a cooldown usage for the boss. It's not the end of the world, because obviously if you die, then that's worse, but yeah. Lubricator is very easy to mess up and very easy to wipe too. It's also very easy to execute, but, mistakes happen, so you gotta be prepared. Especially as Pal, you don't have a lot of instant AoE heals outside of Divine Toll. In fact, you don't have any. I mean, Glimmer is okay, but, like, Glimmer is not gonna heal you up through a missed Lubricator, so, uh, yeah, you definitely wanna make sure you have Toll for that. Which, like, personally is another reason why I don't feel like I need to go Venthyr, or that I should, because I'm not playing at the level where mistakes don't really happen. So I need to be able to have a tool that's gonna help me instantly recover from things, and to me, I get more value out of that than some extra damage. Even though obviously the extra damage will help, I just don't like having a 4-minute cooldown when Prideful exists. So yeah, just help DPS these things down as much as you can. They're not too scary. Sometimes the tank gets chunked, but it's hard to tell if like that's just prop bally or if these mechanics are actually hitting super hard. I definitely need to find some more ways to do more overall damage. Um, I usually sit, it kind of depends on the dungeon, but I usually sit between 800 and 1.1k overall. Um, I want to start logging though so I could see what I'm doing that's keeping it like on the low side, because I definitely feel like I could be higher. In this run, I don't know which oil I'm running though. I'm thinking I'm still running the healing oil on this, because I got scared. So I definitely think if I change to the other oil, my overall will be higher, just naturally. Um, so that's something for me to keep in mind. Okay, so these are this pack, the lubricators here, and then the slimes in the next are the scariest 2 packs in this wing. Lubricator or the lubricate cast, sorry, needs to be interrupted as well as the heal. If one of these gets missed, it's gonna hurt. So as you see, we missed one there, it's fine, but then we missed the second one. Or was that all actually, I don't remember, but regardless, it hurts. So that's why you save Divine Toll, because it's an instant, okay, let me just heal everybody up. Now we do have Prideful coming up, but the Divine Toll will be back up for Prideful. You obviously won't have it on the slime pack, so I have 2 options here. I can pop wings here, and then I know that I'll have it back for the boss, or I can pop wings on this next one, and I think it'll be back up, like, halfway through the boss? Kinda depends. I have options here because I don't nuke, we don't nuke the Manastorms boss, so it might just be, I think I get more value out of it here because these oils are a little bit scarier to interrupt. There's more that have to get interrupted, so there's more consistent damage that goes out. I think it's better to wings this pack. And there's also, like, as you see, like, it's not everybody getting chunked. It's only, like, 1 or 2 people at a time. So it's really not too bad. I think I prefer to wing this pack. Sometimes I get scary and I just aura off the bat, but I aura there at the end. I didn't really get a lot of value out of it, but it helped a little bit for sure. The hardest part, honestly, about this is just dealing with the shades and the pride at the same time. So I'm not afraid to pop LOH on myself if I feel like I get hit by a shade and can't get away immediately. It's just live. You just have to survive. But yeah, so the toll's back up from the lubricator mob, so don't be afraid to use it. This is a tricky pride only in the fact that you don't really want to pop a ton of damage CDs here. So you kind of have to make sure you have at least something up for it. Maybe it's better to aura that instead of the slimes. Because I didn't get great value out of the aura. I think it would be better to use on the pride there. Okay, so we decided that we're not gonna nuke Millhouse immediately, so we only pop like little mini CDs. We're gonna save it for Millie. So yeah, we're just chilling here. We don't do a great job of soaking the lasers, to be honest. Partially my own fault, but like this entire laser just did not get soaked. I think it's because it happened at the same time as the earthquake thing. So people were like focused on that. It's not the end of the world again. And I do have cooldown, so it's not bad, but that's something that on higher keys will go punished a lot more. So we just wait here, we halt DPS. Want to make sure that he gets hit. I don't know why I sidestepped there. I think I like panicked. But luckily the warrior was paying attention, so I did not have to, or at least I didn't screw it up. Alright, so this is the phase that gets scary. I sack my tank for his request. It does hurt. I definitely understand why he wants that. But yeah, truth be told, I still don't fully understand this fight. I have to, like, actually look at it. This is the only fight that I just kind of YOLO. I just know that things will randomly hurt. Yeah, we have double melee taking care of the bombs, so most of the time I don't have to worry about those. I usually aura this, but if I aura that pack that I told you earlier, it won't be up. Like, it literally came up as she flew away. I don't need it. It's great if something goes wrong, but you don't necessarily need it for that. I should be holding my horse here, but I don't know why I pop it. And I'll show you why I get mad that I pop it here. Because in the next wing, I always die to the frost. So I should have held it. I don't know why I used it. Maybe I thought it'd be back up. I don't know, but I quickly regret my decision to use the horse. So yeah, we're still making really good time here. Zyxa? Whatever her name is. She's a little tough. Because we have essentially 4 people in melee, so having to share that debuff is gonna be a little rough. We'll talk about it when we get there, but, these packs aren't too bad, you just have to watch the pat. So we got a little unlucky here. We ended up wasting a lot of time just waiting for the pat. I mean, it's okay because 'cause we're doing fine on time, but it's one thing to watch out for, like, what is that, 15 to 20 seconds right there that we're wasting? Just unlucky. So yeah, just kite it down, bring it down to the bottom of the stairs. I don't think we have earned for this. So we just kind of have to get through it, which is fine. I have aura, so I just auraed that and I divine told. I don't think I would need wings for this unless it was like a higher key. I mean, as you see, I was able to easily heal that. Like nobody really went below 50% and I auraed and had toll. So toll just has so much value. It's just like when you're running the Holy Shock Legendary, it's amazing. I always like to wait a second for the first tick so that it heals people and then it also gives them the shield. I don't like to use it too early. We earn this. To be honest, we probably should start double pulling that pack. Um, and then trying to earn that. Unless they can't get earned, but I don't see a reason why they wouldn't be able to get earned. So um yeah, our tank just bubbles right off the bat. I see that his cooldowns are all on CD. I don't have sack, so I really have to watch him a little bit better here. I think I, like, was so tunneled on the Death Speaker for the Erupting Darkness that I, like, kinda lost focus on the tank. It didn't cost us anything, luckily, and he did have his AD backup, so we were, like, fine, but, uh, I don't know. I have an issue where, like, I know there's, like, one mechanic that I have to dodge, and then I just tunnel really, really hard on it, and that's not good as a healer. So, something I need to work on right there. Not that it, like, bit us in the ass or anything here, but it's definitely something to keep in mind. Alright, so this is the infamous hallway. Oh, this is the sorry, I used the steed there. I forgot that the trash was there when I said earlier. So, yeah, so I don't have horse here, but I always bubble this hallway because I am just god awful at dodging it. Like, I don't know why, I'm just so bad. So I just bubble. I just say, "Screw it." Usually I horse and bubble through and it's fine, but because I didn't have the horse, I actually have to dodge this last hallway. And it gets a little close, but we did it. I just feel like the range on it is just stupid and inconsistent. I just feel like sometimes I get hit by things. Like I was standing in between the two sections and I got hit by one. Like why? How did I get hit by that? All right, so this hallway's not too bad, but it definitely can get a little spooky at times. Just because there's so many ads around, you have to be careful how you're kiting, how you're dodging spitefuls, etc. And our hunter, well, excuse me, he dies to a spiteful as arranged. And you'll see here shortly that he was not having the best time in this hallway. We nuked this down. It's a pretty easy pack. It's not too hard on the tanks. Sometimes I'll pop wings there just to get some damage out. I think it just kind of depends, but I definitely played very defensively in this dungeon, so I did not pop wings here offensively. The only packs that I really feel like I need a cooldown on are a little bit later in this hallway. The birds because they just nuke the tank. And then like the birds by the hallway or by the waterfall. And then there's like a pack right before the dragon that we do, which I'll show you. And like that one I definitely need a cooldown for. But the rest of these I don't really necessarily feel like I need to. Um like just for like healing purposes. But I definitely can do more damage with them. Like I should have winged earlier here because like I had like 5 seconds left on these and the mobs are still not dead, so yeah, the, hunter dies here to the Spiteful. Feels bad. Uh, and then we go to battle res him, but he released, so that was fun. Um, yeah, and then he goes to try to get through the hallway again, and, he dies in the hallway. Okay, so these are the packs that get a little scary. So I bought my warrior there because she got aggro for like a second, and I said I don't want her to get two shot, and I don't really need the bop for anybody else. So we bring these birds to the side and we kite around the dragon. So this is actually kind of scary. I know it doesn't look like it, but it is because of Spiteful Weak. Any type of affix that is punishing space, it makes this really hard. We did this once on like um what is that one affix called? The purple stuff on the ground. I forgot. My brain is not working today. But yeah, so just be really careful here because like this is a really good pack to kite around, but the thing is you just don't have a ton of room. So got to be really really careful. They also kind of hurt while you do have to deal with Spiteful here, which will hit you for half your HP, and then if a bird hits you it's like okay. so so yeah, so like I was saying, this is one of the ones where like I'm just gonna wings right off the bat, get as much value out of it as possible, heal up, do damage, nuke these things down as much as possible. And we don't worry like too much about the spitefuls unless it's on me. Because we are cutting it around a fair amount, so it just kind of depends. Just call them out. If you need help, say you need help. But that pack actually went pretty cleanly in my opinion. And then this next pack of the birds by the waterfall is also kind of nasty on the tank. I think I should have sacked him a little bit earlier. I was kind of waiting for his confirmation, but I mean, looking at his CDs that he has available, right? He only has AD, so I probably should have asked him earlier if he just wanted sack on the pull. Another thing too with um actually both prot and holy is because we rely so much on holy power. Whenever we start a pull, we have a few globals where like we're very vulnerable, and that's because we have to build up the holy power to be able to do anything. I almost pulled that dragon there. I'm like, that would have been really bad. So, using a cooldown like AD or sack on a pull, whether it be a boss or a fortified pack or whatever, um, is a pretty good use of those abilities in my opinion. Sack also just lasts so long that like you can use it early and still get like pretty good value out of it. So don't be afraid to do that. Um, because especially like you like the healer and the tank are basically defenseless and not able to output anything for the first 3 globals, right? So it's very easy to get chunked and die in that span of time. I mean, there's been many times in not necessarily in this dungeon, but you know, if we're going to a new pack and I have no holy power, like my tank will just get chunked, and then I'm like, oh my god, I were to glory, but it only healed Drew for 20%, and he has Shield of the Righteousness up, so I don't know. Just be careful of that. Don't be afraid to sack early. That's one thing I've learned for sure. I don't necessarily feel like I have that problem with a lot of other tanks. Like I really seem to only have that issue with Prot Pally. Sometimes Demon Hunter. And I mean, I haven't really played with a Death Knight. I would assume you would have the same issues with Death Knight, but they're their own breed. I've actually had a pretty easy job healing bear druids, and demon hunters are usually pretty good. Prot warriors haven't been too bad, to be honest. Okay, so this boss, like I said, is a little tricky with the amount of melee that we have, so we just have to be really careful with the lightning, make sure that we're spreading it. I think at one point I had like way too many stacks and I like screwed it up, but I like panicked because I didn't see this bomb on me till the last second, and I was like, oh my god, I gotta get out of here. Um, and spreading the lightning is actually pretty painful. So the tank has it right now. I end up getting it. I'm at 2 stacks. I spread it to the hunter. And then I have to, or at least I try to spread it to the hunter. Yeah, he got it. And then I had to take the mechanic. But like we nuked him down so fast that it really was a non-factor. On tyrannical weeks, that boss is pretty difficult, to be honest. A lot of these bosses in DOS are pretty hard on tyrannical, not because they hit super hard, but like some of these mechanics just like ramp up over time. And if you just don't have the DPS, it really makes this difficult. All right, so we've got about 6 minutes left, and then we get to start Mueh'zala, and we have 2 paladins that have to run all the way over there. So this fight's not hard, but you definitely wanna one phase it, and it's very doable to one phase it here in, Fortified weeks. But just don't mess up. The fight itself is not difficult, but I've learned that it's very easy to tunnel and, like, get hit by something stupid. I've done it myself. Alright, so we made our assignments. I'm gonna be going front right with the tank. We just have to make sure that we don't die here. I sack my tank right off the bat because this boss actually hits deceivingly hard on the tanks. And again, it goes back to what I was saying before, where paladins don't have a lot in the first few seconds. Pally tank can AD something off the bat, but it doesn't matter. Like as long as you have something for each of these, um, actually I don't even know what it is. I think it's just his melee. Whatever, it's fine. Just sack off the bat. He's got Guardian up for that. Alright, so Shadow Reality is gonna happen after this Master of Death. Make sure we're dodging everything. Okay, cool. So Tank and I are gonna go, and we're both gonna pop wings here just to make sure that we kill our totem in time. There was one time where we like just barely missed the totem and we didn't pop any cooldowns, and we were like, you know what? Let's not mess with it anymore. I'd rather just one phase this. So we do go a little ham there. In hindsight, probably only one of us should have winged, but it's fine. It's only a 15. This is the worst part of the dungeon, like low key, because you're just sitting here like, hey, let me just not do anything. Alright, so we go in here and just nuke this guy. Standard stuff. Nothing really new here. So I guess the takeaways from this dungeon are just trying to find more ways to use wings on packs that I don't necessarily need it on, just to get more damage, and then find more ways to actually output damage in that window. Use sack preemptively, don't be afraid to use cooldowns. Communicate with the tank, say when you're gonna sack ahead of time. And yeah. I think this was a pretty good key, all things considered. We still had 6 deaths and timed this pretty reasonably. And yeah, there's my KSM. So thanks for watching, and see you next time.